there is a second sun, and I don't know if it's the fact that they're going to be able to blow up Jupiter, or if it's this Nibiru coming in. Nibiru is coming in, and this could be the year people start to see it. It's visible in the skies. I think that's why they're hiding it. And I don't even know exactly where Nibiru is going to come through at, if it's even the same planet that I keep seeing that's coming up from behind the sun. You know, we've got several things happening all at once, and I can't say that everything is Nibiru. Oh, that one's Nibiru, that one over there is Nibiru. Satan's forces are moving into the earth. We're almost like things surrounded. And so there is a planet behind the sun. I've seen it. And I think it was an open-eye vision the Lord gave me, and I saw this big, red, dominating, it was bigger than the sun, coming up from behind the sun. And so, yeah, it was pretty wild. And there's going to be a lot of wild things happening. You know, the Lord said, keep your eyes on the skies. And there's going to be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars. And so we're supposed to watch these things, watch for these things. Signs in the sun, that one interests me because I would love to see that one. I don't care about the moon. Satan right now is having a field day with the moon. He's got his whole little Crystal City fraud thing being built there, and his UFO ships that come to Earth and act like they're coming from heaven and act like they're God and all this stuff. They're located right on our moon, dark side of the moon, and this planet, this Nibiru that's coming that Eve's on, and she arrives, and you know it's here, and of course she's not coming as Eve, she's going to come as Mary or the Queen of Heaven or whatever, you know, people want to name her. And Sananda coming, and Maitreya coming out of hibernation and leading and getting the Arabs all lined together. And a lot of this is distractions too, folks, because you know, years ago I had a vision of a lot of Chinese soldiers here on American soil, and I keep being reminded of that. My husband actually ran into somebody, just an ex-military retired guy working on the border of Canada and America, so he had no reason to lie. And he was in the area, I'm not going to say why, just for vacation or whatever, had to get back to work and worked on the border. And he was saying that there was all kinds of trucks coming across the border with Chinese equipment in them. And my husband goes, I don't know why this guy told me that. He just walked up to me out of nowhere and told me this. I just looked at him and go, yeah, because you were supposed to tell me. You were supposed to tell me, because it always comes back to a remembrance of this vision I had of Chinese soldiers here in America, and what they were doing was enforcing the roundups for relocation. And so do not go. I don't care what kind of distractions you have. You know, if your home's underwater or whatever, seek higher ground. Do whatever you have to do, but do not get government help. Do not go to the relocation centers when they tell you to meet at the local high school gym or the local post office, and they're going to relocate everybody to different areas. Do not go, because they're going to kill you. They're just going to take you to internment camps and kill you. And that's exactly what these Chinese soldiers were doing in this vision. It was like a warning, because these soldiers, I was at this post office, and I'm with my kids, and I was fighting with them about something else. You know, I don't know. I couldn't hear what I was saying in my dream. You know, it was a dream. It felt like a dream, but it was a vision. It was just kind of weird. And they took me off to the side into the field, and they shot me in the back of my head. And I don't know if any of you ever had dreams or visions where you were actually just shot in the head. I wasn't dead. I felt this big hole in the back of my head. I'm like, wow, that hurts. And it was almost like a warning from the Most High. And from that point, ever since I had that, I have just been and warning people not to go to these relocation centers, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to kill you. And, you know, what threat am I to Chinese soldiers? I'm a mother of several children, you know, at a post office. I'm supposed to be getting relocated to somewhere else, safety. And they put a gun in the back of my head, a bullet in the back of my head. And so I think that was a warning. And a very lively one. I've never forgotten it. It's also been confirmed that these soldiers that are coming over, these UN forces to enforce martial law here in America, they're being taught to shoot people in the backs of their head. And so that was confirmed several years later from somebody who also does martial law research here in America, that these soldiers, that's exactly how they're being trained to deal with people, to deal with any kind of resistors, any kind of discontent, just take the people out and shoot them in the back of the head. And so very interesting. Any more questions or listeners or comments from listeners, you can send them to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. Don't think I'm going to stay on the air much longer tonight. I have to go through and edit the stuff and then upload it, and people get antsy about waiting for the shows to be uploaded. I just want to say the things that the Lord leads me to say, and not to have too many rabbit trails. Although He honors those as well, because a lot of times rabbit trails are of Him, wanting me to warn people of things and stuff like that. I know I'm really glad that I listened to Him earlier this year. It was really just so cold in Ohio all year, and I was getting so sick of the cold. And I kept seeing, I just kept feeling that this is going to be a really hot summer. I'm like, I'm freezing now. I'm sick of the cold. I can't wait till we turn the corner and summer starts. And even when we did that, it was still in the 60s. It wasn't any big deal here. And almost instantly overnight, we jumped 20 degrees. We went from like the 70s to the 90s. And it was unbearably hot. And I don't have central air where I live. But back in March, I kept feeling this summer's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a hot one. I ordered air conditioners, and boy, am I glad I did, because the Lord kept urging me to do that. And I kept seeing in the codes how people are parched, they're hot, they're burned, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a hot summer. And I don't know why I would think that time, because it's usually referring to the aliens being burned by the orgone we put out. But at the same time, I would start feeling this is going to be a really hot summer. I think it was just a warning from the Lord. Look, parched, burned, you're going to be hot. So I'm really glad I listened to him on that one and got air conditioners when I did. Because this weekend's just been horrific. When you go from the 70s to the 90s and you just skip the 80s altogether, it's really hot. You go from cool to hot. And so this summer really could be a scorcher. I don't envision me leaving the house very much. I'm not one who can handle hot weather. And so just always seek the Lord, folks. If you feel an urging to do something, then do it. If He's urging you and you don't know why it's coming or why something hits you the way it does, and it's usually the Lord trying to get your attention. And so you have to learn the different ways He works. He could just easily, it would be so much easier sometimes if He would just talk to me direct and tell me something. I would recognize it right away. But He doesn't always work that way. It's not always that easy. He'll just hit something at you, and we works in different ways. Works through different people. Has people speak something to you, and all of a sudden something makes sense or something hits. And He just works in various different ways. It's never the same way. And so you just learn to recognize all the different ways He works. And so just a heads up on that, folks. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, but just, a day in the life of Sherry Shriner, I guess. Just learning to listen and walk as Him as your focus every day, so that He can lead and guide you and save you from a lot of the trouble that's coming up ahead. Just getting a couple air conditioners probably saved me from a heat stroke. I would have never met, I can't handle this weather. I can't handle hot weather. And so just a heads up. If He's telling you to do the same thing, do it. If He's telling you to stock up on camping equipment, do it. He's telling you to do certain things, do it, Can't encourage you enough to start building your own relationship with the Most High, where you can hear His voice and be led by Him, because it's the one thing that's going to keep you alive in these last days. It could be the one thing that gets you out of your house before a tornado hits it or a tree falls on it. It's the fact that something hits your spirit and you recognize it as the Lord and you act. It's going to save a lot of people's lives because they could hear Him and they acted on what He said. And, so many people waiting for, the big pie out of the sky to land on their head and wake them up and speak to them. And, like I've said, the Lord will hit your spirit. He just works in various different ways. And so don't ignore Him, because ignoring Him could be the difference between life and death or even injury. And so learn how to hear Him and learn how to be one with Him. Anyway, I'm going to end the show tonight. Next week, I'm going to talk about the New Jerusalem, because I think this is something fascinating that the Lord pointed out to me that I'd never picked up before. And so I'm going to talk about it next week with the New Jerusalem. Until then, everybody, God bless.